Move your car, lol, okay. I'm the 19th daughter of my normally very nice parents. We had new neighbors move in about 2 years ago, and for the most part we just left them be. They're a little annoying sometimes, and there were a couple instances where we had to complain about the overwhelming noise of their weekend parties at night. But other than that, they're pretty okay neighbors. We've never had a problem with them until recently after several strikes against my family. Strike 1, destructive dogs. So our neighbor's family, my family owns dogs. My dogs are very gentle and spend most of their time indoors. We live in Southern California, and when this incident happened, it was in the middle of summer, so we let our dogs stay inside to keep cool. Their dogs are very aggressive and are raised as outside dogs. Every time I let my dogs out in the backyard for some fresh air, my neighbor's dogs will attempt to break through the wooden fence dividing our properties by digging, climbing, scratching, etc. The digging was easy to stop. We just filled in the holes with dirt. But at some point their dog managed to create a hole in the wall large enough for their dog to squeeze their face in, so about the size of a dinner plate. We have cameras, so we caught everything on tape. My parents are pretty understanding, so my dad went and talked to my neighbors offering to pay half of the damage since it's our shared property line. The neighbor's wife, who we are going to call Lying Sally for this story, called my dad a liar and accused our dogs of damaging the fence, which we knew wasn't true, and my dad told her we had proof it was her dogs, and demanded that my family pay for the damages. They fought over it, nothing got solved, so eventually my dad conceded and nailed some plywood over the gaping hole. Problem solved, but this was only the first strike. Strike 2, just why? The next incident is honestly really stupid, and I don't even know why Lying Sally bothered lying. So this incident happened about a few days after we had to call our third noise complaint on one of their parties again. Like, seriously? Who blasts Let It Go at 10:30 p.m. at night? I wish I was making this up. My mom is getting out of her car in our driveway when Lying Sally walks right up to her and accuses her of yelling at their lawn mowing guy to not mow their lawn so loudly at 7:30 a.m. My mom was very confused. She's never talked to the guy who comes over to mow their lawn. We've never cared about any of our neighborhood's business in general. For frick's sake, we have a neighbor across the street who revs his motorcycle at 6 a.m., and another neighbor who does construction stuff in his garage for a hobby. My family has been living here for almost 20 years. We're very chill with our neighbors' loud and noisy hobbies normally. Long story short, my mom confronted the lawnmower guy one morning and asked him if she's ever talked to him before, and he told her no. Lying Sally saw this and ran out of the house to confront my mom. She screams, "Why are you talking to him for?" And so my mom replies, "Because you're a lying bitch." And so that's the gist of it. I don't know why Lying Sally even bothered lying about that. At this point, we were convinced Lying Sally was a nutcase. Strike 3, the point where I finally stepped in. For the past month, my neighbors have stooped to a new low by hogging all of the parking space in front of our house whenever they get the opportunity. My family has 3 cars. 2 usually sit in our driveway, and the third is parked curbside in front of our house. My neighbors have 2 cars, both of which they park alongside the curb in front of both of our houses. The curb our houses share is only big enough for 2 cars. They've stopped using their driveway entirely just to park their 2 cars on the curb, which forces us to park our third car further down the street. It's not a big deal, but what they were doing was petty, so my parents became petty too. The moment they would move their cars to go to work, my parents would move our third car back into its spot on our half of the curb. This went on for almost an entire year until at some point an unspoken truce was made and they stopped their petty scheme. Things returned back to normal until I accidentally fucked it up. In my defense, I was driving home with the third car late at night. It's dark. I accidentally back up way too far and park the car smack dab in the middle of the curb. So my car is literally in the middle between our houses. I'm tired from working all day, so I don't think much of it since our neighbor still has a whole entire driveway to themselves. Trust me, their driveway is just like ours. It is made to fit 2 cars. The next morning, I wake up to the sound of my parents arguing downstairs. Turns out, our neighbors have parked one of their cars on their driveway, and the other one is parked in front of our third car on our side of the curb. This wouldn't be a problem if one half of the hood of their car wasn't sticking out into our driveway. The problem with this is that if we tried to back out the car, the one closest to their car in our driveway, we might hit their car, and I'm pretty sure that was the purpose. I was done with their games, so I marched over next door and rang their doorbell. The husband, we'll call him Pig for this story, opens the door and he's recording me as if I'm going to attack him. which is ridiculous. I'm 5'2" and he's close to 6 foot. If anything, I should be the scared one. The conversation goes like this. "Me, is it okay if you can move your car?" Pig, no, the police told me I can park anywhere I want because it's a public road, and they even told me I can record you. Me, I don't even care about you recording me. I just need you to move your car. You have an entire driveway to yourself. It's just common courtesy to not block your neighbor's car into their driveway. Pig, you guys can still get out. It's not that bad. Me, yeah, but we just don't want to hit your car by accident while backing out. Pig, is that a threat? Mia, no. I'm just saying that we don't want to pay for the damage of your car because you didn't want to move it. And I can't guarantee that we won't hit it. It's pretty damn close. Pig, I don't care. I shouldn't have to move my car. You move your car. I realized I wasn't going to get anywhere, so I let him slam the door in my face and I walked away. I went back inside my house and got on my laptop to make sure that, yes, it is indeed illegal to park in front of someone's driveway, even partially. So my neighbor does have to move by law. However, I wanted to be a petty bitch, so I moved my car. I grabbed my car keys and carefully backed up the car. Again, the one closest to his poorly parked car, so that the back half is inches away from the front of Pig's car. So my car is now blocking Pig's car from pulling out into the street and leaving. My car is also blocking the sidewalk, which I know is illegal, but I already had this plan out. Basically, I caged in his car and held it hostage for a couple days. Here's the setup shown in this diagram. Either Pig or Lying Sally would have to come and apologize to make me move the car, which I knew was very unlikely. Or Part 4, Victory. Sure enough, as I predicted, Pig called the cops a few days later and reported my ass. His face was so smug as the officer told me that I can't legally box in someone's car like that and block the sidewalk with my vehicle. I told the officer that I understood and that I'll move my car, but immediately pointed out that it's illegal to partially block the entrance point to someone's driveway as well, and that Pig's car is crossing that line by over 2 feet. The smile on Pig's face vanishes and his face turns red while the officer tells him that he's going to have to move his car as well. So I back up my car and I'm grinning like a cat who's caught its prey while Pig has to move his car into his driveway. I also made sure to move our third car back into its rightful spot as well. And holy shit, and thank you guys so much for all of the awards.
A driver hits my truck, refused to get insurance involved, wasting my time and being difficult. Enjoy the butthole tax. Hello readers, I am posting this here because for the time being I believe that this is the correct thread. But if anyone thinks it belongs to other threads, please let me know, thank you. This happened just a week ago. I am an over-the-road truck driver, and I was on off-duty mode since the day before, so I was stationary the whole time. While I was in my bed trying to sleep, I suddenly heard a loud crunch, following by a pretty rough rocking of my truck. When I got out and checked, I saw a truck trying to park on the left spot, and struck me on his blind spot, right side of his trailer. The damage was my driver's side mirror was folded, and there are cracks on my left quarter fender. The driver got out, checked the damage for both my truck and his trailer. I told him that I will need his registration, DL, and insurance, the whole 9 yards. At first, he was a little hesitant to give the information, but ended up following the rules. I did the same for him. Then he proceeded to tell me that he would prefer to pay the damage in cash or check. The reason was if insurance was involved, his company would charge him $2,500 automatically, so it's a huge loss for him. Even though I don't agree with that and still thinks insurance is better, I comply and talked to my manager about the whole situation. At first, he wanted to claim through insurance too, but after seeing the damage, it was very minor. He settled and told me to charge the driver $1,200 if he wants to pay cash or check. I told the driver what my manager thinks the cost of the repair is. He was more hesitant than when I asked for his information, so I told him it's either $1,200 or insurance. Then he got this bright idea to try to get evaluations from the professional in a nearby shop for the cost of parts and labor. He even tried to fix my side mirror, which to my surprise was fixed. Okay, so no need to replace the side mirror, but the fender is still cracked, so that needed to be fixed. His reason to get professional evaluation is so he can get a receipt for tax purposes, so it's understandable. I told him that I will need to leave in 4 hours, which is true, so I won't have all day to sit around in the mechanic's shop. Not to mention I didn't get much sleep, since I need to take care of the damage. He was very assuring that it will be very quick. It won't. Shortest time I've ever been in a shop is 8 hours, so I comply. We drove to the nearest shop, which is 30 minutes away. Inside the truck, he kept saying that $1,200 is too much to fix a fender. I didn't say anything in retaliation because I actually do not know how much it costs to fix a fender. I just trusted my manager. When we arrived, the tech said that he can't fix the truck within 3 hours. It was fairly busy. So we asked if we can just get an evaluation for the cost of parts and labor, which the tech said that he can do. After 1 hour, the tech came out and gave us a piece of paper for the evaluation. The total came out to be $1,440 for parts and labor, not including paint job, which is around $400. He was shocked, thinking that he got ripped off by the evaluation. He complained a whole bunch to the tech, but there's nothing the tech can do about it. He asked for their evaluation, he got evaluation. Then he went back to me and asked if he can still go back to the $1,200 cost. I told him. But I thought he wanted to get a receipt for evaluation done by a professional. To say he was stunned was an understatement. He kept making up excuses about the cost, but again I repeated either this or insurance. He finally complied and wrote me a check for $1,440. After we parted ways, I mentioned to him, "Remember to keep your words for the paint job. If not, my manager will claim the damage as hit and run." He looked at me with the dirtiest look he could muster. He couldn't do anything about it. Well, at least he got his receipt. I did one, for those who mentioned that I might get burned with cash or check. I actually didn't think of this at first, but that was a very good lesson. Nonetheless, the driver paid me with money order because he couldn't withdraw $1,440 in cash from ATM and he doesn't bring his checkbook. I guess it's more secure since there's no way money order could bounce. Also, I have all of his information and proof of accident from the parking lot camera. In case he tried to pull anything funny, we can just dial insurance and reveal everything. Edit 2. I didn't know there's a whole subreddit for us/uswhole-tax. I will gladly give that a visit. Thank you for letting me know. Sounds like a very fun page.
The end to a free decade of Netflix. Between 8 and 10 years ago I received an email welcoming me to Netflix. It was a bit concerning since I hadn't signed up, so I contacted the company. Told me someone must have accidentally used my email when they created an account. Our last names were the same in our first initial. I said, "Oh, no problem. You must have additional contact information for them besides my email. Could you please remove my email from the account and let them know so they can fix?" Well, immediately, that was a big problem for Netflix, and well, no, they couldn't remove the email because it was the only one they had for the account, and how did they even know that it was mine? I said, "Give me your email address and start talking. I will email you the words as they come out of your mouth." That wasn't good enough for proof somehow. More likely, I was in the other person's email account asking to not have Netflix. What they finally ended up doing was changing the account password, so that when the customer went to log back in they wouldn't be able to, and would need to do a password reset by calling Netflix, and then they would confirm the email address. I kept getting Netflix emails, so that didn't work. I called again, same again, didn't work. I changed the password several times myself, because I could use the forgot password function and get an email to reset it. That didn't work. I don't know how they kept getting the new password without updating an email address, and I didn't really care at this point. For the last 8 to 10 years, I had Netflix on everything I own. I have signed in on hotel televisions, used it on my phone, my Xboxes, my kid uses it. I only ever signed in under family and told him to do the same. The entire history in family is us. The other Logans, Fred, Softy, and Lilla accumulated history. I would occasionally look because curious. Never did a single news show appear in the family watch history that wasn't because of me. Well, I woke up this morning to an email from Netflix, telling me that this email address was no longer associated with that account, and if I had any questions, etc. Thank you, Softy. It has been an amazing run, and I am not sure why you gave me free Netflix for the last decade, but I think you are amazing. TLDR, I asked Netflix to remove my email address from an account that was not mine, that I did not pay for. They would not, because they needed to have an email associated with an account. It stayed that way for 10 years, and I used the account for free.
Check out my other stupendous videos.